I don't understand why Jerry Jones takes us as fools. Jerry, we know what this is about. If you're trying to preserve cap space, you would have signed Micah at the beginning of this offseason before the edge rusher market got reset 3 times over. Or better yet, you would have signed Micah when he was first extension eligible last year when he was looking for a new deal, where it might have cost you $35, $36 million a year. Now you're talking about a number north of $41 million a year and him being the highest paid non-quarterback in NFL history. So when he has to talk about the depth and what it could potentially mean if you sign Micah to the deal that he's looking for and compromising what the team could be moving forward, he got to miss me all the way with that conversation, because that's not what drug this thing all the way out to the point that it's at right now.
Okay, Mark.
You know what? I've stopped listening to Jerry. I was very worried about this whole Micah Parsons situation. I was thinking there's no way. This is getting scary. Words like divorce are being thrown around. And I'm like, you know what? I started watching that Netflix series about the Cowboys. And
So good.
It's so good if you have not watched it. It's phenomenal. But I'm watching Jerry talk about the Emmett deal and signing Dion, and how when Jerry talks about controversial is not a bad thing. If anything in sports and business, it creates interest. And you know what? I'm feeling like this is gonna get done. I'm not worried anymore. You cannot trick me. I am not worried at all, because I think back to last season when I was in Cleveland and they're playing the Cowboys, and a couple hours or an hour before kickoff, news broke. Schefter broke the news of Dak, and I was like, you gotta be kidding me. This whole time we're talking all off season about this. And right at the buzzer, Jerry gets it done. So until week 1 comes and I do not see Micah standing there, I'm not giving Jerry anymore. I think this is all strategy. You want Micah's side to hear, like, we got a whole team. We got to pay everybody. I think this is all part of the negotiations. And until week 1 comes, I'm not going to worry about it.
All right, Kimberly's not buying it. Mina, what's your take?
Well, I guess if it's part of the negotiations, I like you guys struggle to see who he is negotiating with and what the point of this is, other than getting more attention from us, which I suppose mission accomplished. I also think he's going to be there, to me, purely because if he wasn't, it would go down as one of the all-time fumbles. And Chris, I remember doing First Take with you months ago, and you raised the possibility of trading Micah Parsons, and I vehemently agreed with that. But at least there would have been some logic to that when it would have been valuable for Dallas. At this point, it's just silly and a waste of everybody's time. And as far as Jerry's argument, and we've heard this before, where owners, GMs talk about the reluctance to pay people stemming from building a complete team. It's a hard-capped league, all of that. It's not the star player's job to take a discount so that you can afford everyone else. It's your job to draft affordable, talented players who are on rookie contracts. It's one of the great advantages that you have in this league, is that rookie wage scale, and then fill the roster that way. This is not on Micah Parsons. It's completely on the Cowboys front office.
Yeah, and here's the thing, Mina. I agree with you wholeheartedly about best players not having to take a discount or not having to make the salary cap work. He's not the general manager, and apparently Jerry Jones wants Micah Parsons to be his own agent as well. But the aspect of this that I think is concerning for Cowboys fans is what version of Micah Parsons you're going to get if, in fact, he's going to play in week 1, knowing that they've been in training camp a month and the guy hasn't done more than a walkthrough, right? There is a ramp-up period in the NFL. There is an aspect of this where you want him to get acclimated to doing football movements. If you're going to play football, the best way to get ready for that is by practicing football and playing in preseason games. And Micah hasn't done any of that. And the last place that the Dallas Cowboys want to be is in a position where Micah Parsons goes out there week 1, not acclimated to doing football movements, and it could potentially keep him out for an extended period of time this year. We saw it last year. It wasn't a pretty picture for that defense and the team as a whole. And that's the risk that the Dallas Cowboys have run by handling these Micah Parsons negotiations the way that they have.
Potentially taking a huge toll on his body. Kimberly, so you think he's going to start week 1?
I think this will get done. If I am advising Micah, I don't think he should step on the field. But I do think when Jerry talked, when he was on Fox News, he said he is a great player. I know we can talk about Jerry Jones and we can say, he's confusing, his logic doesn't seem to be there all the time as far as the negotiations. He's costing himself more money. But Jerry's not crazy. Like, unless I'm like, he's not crazy enough to botch this to the point of Micah wouldn't be on this team. I just don't see that happening. And when you talk to people around the league, like, they still expect, oh, week one, they kind of shrug their shoulders like, yeah, he'll be a Cowboy. I don't know what the future holds beyond, but I just can't imagine that Jerry would understand that Micah is such a premier player, historical numbers early in his career, and yet we'd be in a situation of why didn't he trade him? Like Mina was saying, like, Cece, you've been saying it would make more sense logically, but logic doesn't always run parallel with Jerry Jones's thought process. Like, I think it's about the attention. It is about how do we get more eyes on us. And in the end, if it costs me more money, it costs me more money, but the guys I want are still here.
Mina, you think he starts week one?
I do. It's so rare for players to hold out. Maybe we saw, I think about Chris Jones week one, Kansas City sitting out. That's kind of the most recent example, I suppose. I still think a deal gets done, but that's me operating from the place of it would just be so stupid if it didn't, that it has to happen. But the other thing that, Micah has working in his favor, aside from being one of the 3 best edge rushers in football, this defense is not good without him. There are holes at all 3 levels that have not been fixed, in my opinion. Defensive tackle remains an issue. Stopping the run, linebacker, huge question marks there. The cornerback room is incredibly injured. The case for this defense even being average or above rests entirely on them having a dominant pass rush. I like Donovan Ezeraku, who they drafted opposite him. You bring in Dante Fowler, you have good depth. But this does not work without Micah Parsons, and he must know that.
Success in the NFC, as they are one of the favorites to win the conference, right behind the Eagles. Quarterback Jared Goff had a career-high 37 touchdowns last season, also finished second in the NFL in passing yards. RC got a chance to sit down with 2 key pieces on Goff's offense. Take a listen to what David Montgomery and Jahmyr Gibbs had to say about the leader of their squad.
JG a dog. He a great quarterback. You know what I'm saying? And I think for him, understand it, it's kind of like similar to me, I think. He don't get enough credit, or people don't like talk about him enough, or he not good enough. So like that fuel him so much, like to not even to prove everybody wrong, but to prove himself right. You know what I'm saying? And I see that out of him all the time. I respect him.
Yeah, JG a dog, man. Like he is everything to this team. Like without him, I don't know where we'd be at. But yeah, like he was saying, like he don't get enough credit. Like they be saying like the weapons around him, like he got to throw the ball. Like what you mean?
I love that. Not proving everybody wrong, but just proving yourself right. Canty, what'd you think of that sound?
Yeah, bank full of respect for Jared Goff. He was jettisoned from the LA Rams, and they sent him to an outpost as far as the NFL is concerned in the Detroit Lions, and all he did was get that franchise turned around and get him to a Final Four. So, I mean, that's impressive to me to see what Jared Goff has been able to do, being a part of Dan Campbell, shifting the culture in Detroit, in winning the division in back-to-back years, and now talking about this team as a serious title contender. That said, Jared Goff is going to have to do more this upcoming season because we are talking about Ben Johnson, their offensive coordinator, moving on. We are talking about Frank Ragnow retiring and Tate Ratledge stepping in and being the center. Ragnow was a huge presence in that Lions locker room, so Jared Goff on the field and in the locker room is absolutely going to have to do more if the Detroit Lions are going to realize their goals of being able to hold up a Lombardi trophy.
I'll come to you here, Kimberly. Obviously.
I'm sorry, I'm still...
Oh, go ahead, Mina. You're good. Go ahead. React to it.
Oh, no. Sorry, I'm still laughing at Chris saying that Jared Goff was sent to an outpost like the Lions, like he was sent to the Great Wall in the north and banished from the kingdom. Otherwise, though, Chris, I'm really in agreement with you about there being pressure on Goff this season. And I want to start by saying Jared Goff, to me, has improved so much as a quarterback over the years. He does things now in this league in terms of making throws under pressure, stepping up in the pocket, that I really don't believe he was capable of early. Even when the Rams offense was as successful as it was, he was a lesser quarterback on the team that went to the Super Bowl than he is now. Quarterback development is not always linear. This is a topic we talk about a lot. Obviously, it's come up with Anthony Richardson. Sometimes players do get better over time. All of that said, Chris is absolutely right. There's a ton of pressure on him because the expectations for this team are so great. They are perceived to be the favorite in the division. And he did lose the offensive coordinator. The interior of the offensive line is in flux. I I think that is what concerns me the most, maybe even as much as the coordinator, just because Jared, as much as he has gotten better at throwing under pressure, it is still not a strength of his. This offensive line has been the rock on this team, and it's being shaken a little bit. But, I just think he's improved so much that I have confidence in his ability to continue leading this offense well.
I want to stay with that subject of pressure. And Kimberly, obviously, you alluded to it, Canty. A lot was made about Goff losing his OC and Ben Johnson. Caleb Williams obviously has a new head coach. So which quarterback do you think has more pressure? Is it Goff or is it Caleb Williams?
The answer is Caleb Williams. But I agree that the pressure's ratcheted up this year on Jared Goff, even though they knew that Aaron Glenn and Ben Johnson were going to get head coaching jobs. It's been since June that Ragnow retired. So they knew that things were coming down the pike, and they've sort of prepared for it. They had over 20 guys on injured reserve last year. They're getting all those guys back. But when I think about as much as Jared Goff has to do more, especially a team that, again, this should be a Super Bowl contending team, so you expect him to play well. He's got to elevate his play. Ben Johnson is the reason the pressure, to me, is bigger for Caleb Williams, because Ben Johnson was the head coach that could not miss. Ben Johnson was the guy who everybody wanted, and he said, I want to go to Chicago because this guy here, I can build a quarterback that could be one of the best in the NFL. I think with Caleb, unfortunately, the organization that he's in, the years that they've spent trying to get the quarterback position right, the decades that Chicago hasn't gotten the quarterback position right, and the fact that he was touted as, he was top pick. Everybody's looking at him like, oh, this guy is special. And what we saw in the first year was he's struggling to do the just basics. And now he has actual legit coaching where we are stripping you down to the studs and we're going to build you back up. Ben Johnson is a guy who is all about detail, and you need to do the basics right, so then we can add on to that. So I think everything, the way they've built this offense, the way they've bolstered this team, Caleb has weapons. He has the coach. If you thought coaching was the issue last year, you can't say coaching is the issue now. So I think right now it's going to be Caleb.